Good evening. Happy Friday. What is it? May 8th. I'm so excited. I am going live with Clay Mauritson of Mauritson Wines and Dustin Valette of Valette Restaurant in Healdsburg. Oh, Clay is already on. So I am going to invite Clay to join me on the screen right now. Hello, Clay. Are you there? Oh, hi. There you are.
Hey, Emily, how are you doing?
Good. Good. Good evening. Good afternoon.
I don't know. These days, not only does the days blur together, but the time seems completely irrelevant. So,
I know. Thank God I've got these at 5 o'clock. It's an excuse to start, well, starting by 5, if not a little bit before.
yeah,
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. I mean, I'm sitting in my cellar. I got 3 glasses of wine in front of me, and I got nothing left to do the rest of the day. So
I
could
know.
not
This
be
is
better.
my kind of Friday. Yeah, I've got 3 glasses of wine in front of me too. I assume we would be starting with a little Sauvignon Blanc. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, of course.
I can't believe I just called it that. I feel like that's what housewives call it. It just sounded funny.
Well, at least you didn't call it Savi B. That's what I hear, some people call it. I think you have to have skinny jeans and a man bun to do that, though.
Oh, okay. Good, good. Yeah, I'm in a dress. It's like 80s in San Francisco. I feel like it's like summer.
I know. I mean, I would imagine that you guys hitting 80s is like us hitting 100. It just doesn't happen in San Francisco, right?
Yeah, I think, and I'm in the Mission, so it's a little warmer, but I think it's been 80s maybe like 5 days a year in the 7 years I've lived here.
I remember one time we were doing a company retreat for all of our managers, and we like to go somewhere, get away from the winery basically, and go down to the city, and we'll, stay in a hotel and go out and dine at restaurants and support our wines, and just didn't think about the fact that San Francisco restaurants don't really have air conditioning because you would never need it. And it was like a record-breaking day in the city. It was like 86 degrees, and I mean, it was just absolutely miserable.
I wonder if it was last year on my birthday, because last year, June 10th, I was at NOPA, and it was like this heat wave, and I love NOPA. Everybody knows this. They can do no wrong. And I always sit at the chef's counter, so it was like doubly hot, and I was like, I don't care. I'm at NOPA. I have to be at the chef's counter, and we were like literally dripping, but it was a fabulous dinner. We just drank a lot of cocktails and wine.
You got to roll with it, right? Roll with it.
Yeah.
Nice for every occasion.
Yeah. Well, speaking of wine, is it Oh, great. We're sipping.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well,
I've been drinking for a while now, so it's all good.
Clay, thank you so much for joining me for this. Those that might not know you, let's, give everybody a little bit of a background.
Absolutely. I've been told many times that I'm not good at the elevator speech, and I always say that it's because I'm a guy who prefers to take the stairs. So, we'll try and settle for the escalator somewhere in between.
Okay, and I can chime in and guide the witness.
Good. So my family is one of the oldest grape growing families in Sonoma County. We've been growing grapes in the Dry Creek Valley area since the 1860s, but have always been just grape growers. We homesteaded our original piece of property. We're able to purchase neighboring properties and focused on all aspects of farming, so ranching and farming. The ugly, sad side of our family history is that in 1968, exactly 100 years after we homesteaded the property, we lost the vast majority of the property, about 3,300 acres, to eminent domain. And for those of you that know your Sonoma County geography well, our ranch used to be what is now Lake Sonoma. Okay. So we were left with about 700 acres, but it was 700 acres at the very top of the ridge, so really difficult to farm. And I tell that story because I think it really emphasizes my family's just dedication to farming. We weren't the only families that lost land to the eminent domain project, but most of the other people basically, turned it in and said, we're moving to town, we're getting a 9-to-5 job. But my family, all we had ever known was farming. And so my grandparents bought a piece of land in Alexander Valley and started farming that. And literally, like the phoenix rising from the ashes, we started from scratch. Fast forward to my brothers and I and my sister's generation. There's 5 of us, and we like to say that my parents...
I didn't know you were one of 5.
One of 5, yes.
And you have 3 children, right?
Exactly. So
I've met Brady. I don't think I've met the other 2.
Yeah, the other 2, I think Davis has been to Project Zen, but my daughter, this was going to be for her first year. I don't know if we're going to get to have Project Zen, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
So my brothers and I joke that my parents believed in the adage that the more kids you had just meant cheaper labor force.
I knew you were going to say that, more labor. That's how my family is. We all had chores since young. There's only 3 of us, but yeah. We all worked at
if we weren't playing sports or going to school, we were working in the vineyard.
Yeah.
I think it's no coincidence that my brothers and I all ended up playing sports in college. My
I
sister
saw.
is,
Wait, sorry. I have to interrupt. The fact that you played in the '95 Rose Bowl, I didn't know that. I was doing a little prep work for this. That is really cool.
it was pretty cool. Again, I literally, no joking. I think we did every athletic activity that we could just to get out of working in the vineyard. So,
yeah.
I had another brother that played college football, one that played college baseball, and one that played college rugby.
Jeez, you have 3 brothers?
3 brothers, and then my little sister, she was definitely the princess of the family. She was the youngest, and it was a pretty big age spread. There was 16 years between the oldest and youngest, so almost like a whole different generation. But
yeah. Well, she was lucky. She had 4 big brothers. I always wanted brothers, so I'm so jealous.
I think she would probably argue with that she was unlucky. But there's 2 sides to every coin. So,
when you're 3 girls, you want brothers. So yeah,
that's
the grass
true.
is always greener.
Yeah. So it's funny because I learned basically what I did not want to do the rest of my life. I spent the better part of my childhood against my will working in the vineyards. My brothers all kind of got an inspiration for what it was they wanted to do. So I tried as hard as I could to get away from the wine business. As you mentioned, I went to college to play football, got degrees in marketing and finance, absolutely nothing to do with the wine business. But sometimes in life, you just don't know what you have till it's gone. And it took me getting away from California, away from my family, to really understand what an amazing place this is to be born and raised, how incredible this industry is. And so literally I kind of stumbled into a winemaking job because, no one was going to hire a 21-year-old college graduate into a sales and marketing position, which is really what my degrees were geared toward. And so I ended up taking an entry-level job in a cellar, and I'll never forget, I was getting paid $11 an hour to drag hoses around a cellar. And within 2 weeks of taking that job, I knew what I wanted to do the rest of my life. And
where was that?
It was at Kenwood Vineyards. And, at the time, Kenwood was, they were one of the iconic brands in Sonoma County. When you think about what they were doing with Artist Series and the Jack London series. And, it was at that time a family-owned winery. And I learned so much there. And probably the most important thing I learned was that my family was growing some unbelievable grapes. And I started looking around going, what in the hell are we doing? Why are we selling all of these unbelievable grapes we're growing? So I went to my parents and told them my great idea, and they looked at me like I was absolutely nuts, and maybe it was concussions.
Great idea being that Mauriton make your own winery?
Yeah, they thought it was crazy. Why would we're farmers, we're not winemakers, we're going to stick with farming. But within about 9 months of that conversation, 3 of the very prominent wineries we were selling grapes to, including the one that I was working at, got purchased by larger corporations. I think we all understand what happens when you see corporatization in just about any industry, but the wine industry, is even more pertinent because you're talking about, something that is so specific to a date and time and place.
And a family. I think
family, I think big corporations want to homogenize it, and, small artisan producers want to do everything in their power to truly exemplify that sense of place.
Yeah.
And so long story short, once these wineries were purchased by larger corporations, I think my parents saw the writing on the wall that being a premium grape grower was a little bit of a scary proposition. And all of a sudden, my crazy idea didn't seem quite so crazy. So it's hard to believe that 22 years ago, they agreed to sell me some grapes, and we started making our own wine. So that's the escalator version.
I think that was a really good escalator/elevator pitch. We got the football in there, which I was really excited to talk about. I'm recently an NFL fan. I've always loved to watch football, but I've never understood it. I went to a 49ers game this fall, and I think it all snapped. Some woman explained it to me. Over the years, men have tried to teach me. Men should not teach women football. Their brains don't think the same way.
Let's be honest. Men shouldn't teach women anything.
So so now I'm an NFL fan. So when I saw that you played football in college, I was actually we were in college at the same time, believe it or not. We're not.
Where did you go to school? I should know this.
Indiana University with Bobby Knight.
I love Bloomington. Bloomington is an incredible college town.
I call it the best place on earth, and I'm trying to convince my nieces who live in Seattle or my nephews in Chicago. One of them is going to go, so it's just a matter of who. But hello, Eluger Wines. We've got some fans saying hello.
Awesome.
I think I said that wrong, but anyway. Well, cool. Well, I have a question. So we do have another guest joining us. We've got Mr. Dustin Valette of Valette Restaurant, and you guys are sort of in for a treat because he's going to be doing some food treats, and Clay's going to talk wine. So we're going to sort of jump back and forth. So how do you feel if I ditch you for a minute and pop over to Dustin and check in on him?
Absolutely. Ditch away.
Okay. So I'm going to drop you, and I'm going to pick up Dustin, and I'll see you in a little bit.
Awesome.
Okay, let me figure this out. Okay, still here. There we go.
Let me see if I can drop myself.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave and then.
Perfect. Oh, he's gone. Okay. There we go. Oh, hello, Dustin. Yay. It sort of worked.
That's hard to go live.
I had a hard time dropping Clay, but we figured it out. Good evening. Happy Friday, my friend.
How's it going? How are you guys doing?
Well, all is well. We were just talking a little Sauv Blanc, learning the history of Mauritson. Talked a lot about football, which is like a new favorite thing. Clay played football in college, which is awesome. So yeah.
I like it. I love it.
So
I think I have way too big of a head, or you guys have really long arms. One of the two.
I have what?
You guys have way long arms. I was like,
we'll go with I have way long arms. Well, I think this is so fitting because obviously, you know, every time I'm in Healdsburg, I spend a lot of time at your restaurant. So I think since we're all in shelter in place, let's just do it together and sort of cook from Healdsburg.
Exactly. So this is like our very first like food and wine experience, right? So you have Clay's wines, you got my food. It's pretty epic. We're pretty set.
The only thing I'm mad about is that I don't have your food in front of me, but whatever. There's next time.
You know, but look, I have all the wines right here in front of me, though.
Oh, great. Beautiful.
Exactly. We've got the whole gamut. Pretty exciting.
So what are you cooking over there, mister?
Nothing. We're just doing date drinking. That's it.
Oh,
so
okay.
I know we're supposed to
that works for me, you know?
We're supposed to like recipes and stuff. We're like, dude, screw it. We're going to do cold pizza instead. So for today's menu, very fancy, very elegant, very avant-garde. This is called Cold Mary's Pizza. You can see it right here.
Great.
And that's what we're doing for dinner. So I think we're good. So I'm jealous that Clay gets just to hang out and, you know, drink wine all day. So I figured I'd just sit here and drink wine, eat some cold pizza.
Perfect. I mean, you guys can do whatever you want. You can cook, you can drink. I mean, every time I'm with you, you don't pass up a chance to cook.
Twist my arm for a good time.
What?
I said twist my arm for a good time. I'm in. A little day drink. Wow, that Sauv Blanc's really good.
Isn't it so light and drinkable?
Really that's delicious. Really good.
I know. It's got like a nice creaminess to it. There's nothing I don't care for more than like a really citrus green Sauvignon Blanc. And this is not that. It's just so lovely and like rich and creamy. Really, you know, you're talking to a Chardonnay drinker when I say creamy.
It's delicious. All right. So what we got here is we have 3 different wines. Let me flip the screen real quick. So we have 3 different wines. We have the Sauv Blanc, the Charlie Clay Pinot, and then the Rockpile Zin.
Yep.
It's fun. I've known the Mauritsons forever. Our families actually grew up together. He went to high school with our family. His mom and dad were friends with my mom and dad. The whole 9 yards. It's very
good old Bob.
Crazy.
I love
very
your dad.
Small little circle. Bob's the best, right?
You know what? I just realized I haven't met your mom, but I know your dad. I know your brother. I know Joanna. I know the girls.
You got to be the rest of the clan. Come on. There's a whole bunch of us. We have our little compound here. You know, we're all set. Okay. So what we're going to do is we wanted to kind of talk about some of the wines. We also thought it'd be kind of fun to have like a food and wine pairing experience, but like digital. So first thing is we're going to drink the Sauv Blanc because you have to have some Sauv Blanc to start your day off.
Oh, delish. Really good.
And then we got to switch over to the Pinot because you got to have some Pinot behind Sauv Blanc.
I mean, you are talking to Pinots and Plaid founder over here.
Which is fantastic. God, that's really good Pinot too. So that's the Charlie Clay. So as a joint venture between Clay Mauritson and Charlie Palmer. Charlie is the chef I worked for. Ah, look at that. Much better.
Good visual. You keep talking. I'll hold it.
You're the designated. You're Vanna White. Vanna White. Okay, we need the. And then also Rockpile is in. So what I thought would be kind of fun is to talk about like a pairing to go with Rockpile is in. So what we're going to do is we actually are going to do some cooking today. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of lamb with some house-made bacon, some roasted peppers, toasted almonds, green garlic, fava beans from Beignet Farms, and some English peas, some nasturtium blossoms, nasturtium leaves, and a little bit of onion blossom, along with a charred scallion puree and an espelette vinaigrette.
Wait, is this something we're supposed to make at home, Dustin?
Yeah, this is like a normal, like, takes like a half hour.
You know, no big deal. Just like 8 bowls of okay. This is why I love your cooking. It's so complex and flavorful.
This is simple. This is like the little kid version. We made
totally. Easy breezy. I can't wait to see what you whip up.
All right. Well, we can get started on that. So actually, I have my wife. She's hanging out here with us also. So I'm going to give her the phone so she
Oh,
can
great.
film,
Can I say
right?
hi?
Absolutely.
Oh, she doesn't want to be on camera? Trust me.
Like yesterday, you don't want a visual.
I can relate. Same.
Shelter in place, right? No,
You're glamorous.
Okay, so she's gonna hold the camera. She'll read questions. She's the cameraman or camerawoman. So we're all set.
Yes.
Right?
Okay, yeah.
So we're having is our lamb. We're gonna start with that guy first. So we have a cast iron pan or good stainless steel pan. In this case, we use an all-ply large stainless steel. The first thing we do is we're gonna season the lamb with a little bit of pepper and a little bit of sea salt. I kind of go back and forth with kosher salt or sea salt. I like the two.
Yeah.
I kind of like kosher salt. It's kind of clean and briny. I also like sea salt because it has more of that minerality kind of flavor to it. So we have
It's a little
this kind of
thicker and
salt and
chunkier,
pepper
isn't
on
it? Sea salt?
And now we're going to add in. It is, exactly. But you also get different kinds. You get some that are like fine grind, some are more coarse. So we put it in our pan, got a nice little smoky point to that, starting it nice and hot. And we're going to put that fat side down. So the lamb itself is a local lamb right here in Sonoma County. And Clay, again, we know the Mauritson forever. The reason why we decided to do lamb is Clay's family, he always talks about the grapes, but the truth is he actually got started in the lamb business. So his family were actually ranchers. They used to raise lamb, and they started raising cattle, and then they started a company called Painted Hill, which is amazing. So we wanted to kind of showcase the lamb for him. So what we do is we're going to sear the lamb, and those are nice price people. And then we're going to take it, and we're going to cook it. And at home, you want to sear this, usually about, there. Can you see that? How's that?
Well, that was quick. Was that like
And you
2
can
minutes
smell
per
it.
side?
So,
Yeah, I can smell it. It smells
How many minutes per
delicious.
so usually you cook this about 4 minutes per side, and then we roast in the oven.
Okay.
So the truth is, it takes about 12 minutes in the oven. So for the next 12 minutes, we're just going to sit here and hang out and drink wine.
Great.
So I need some cool elevators.
That's going to be easy. And you and I are just going to chit chat for 12 minutes. Boom.
No, I'm just kidding. So here's the beauty of like this.
Oh, yeah. You have to make all those extra bowls.
Lamb goes in, lamb goes in, and then with the magic TV, the lamb comes out. Boosh! What do you guys think?
Boom.
Cool, right? Exactly.
That is
It's
a really
magic
good
of,
little cooking demo trick.
Single chef.
What?
What? There's no trick. This is a full oven. It's a magic
Well, you
oven.
put one in and then you took one out. I think it's
Plug
brilliant.
it in and it comes right out. Exactly. Okay, so our lamb's roasting. That was about 12 minutes. You guys at home, you might have been drinking a little bit too much today, a little too much day drinking. You don't know, but that was actually 12 minutes. So we took lamb, we roasted it, we took it back out. We're going to drain it back out of the pan. We're going to add in a little bit of olive oil. This is a local extra virgin olive oil.
Okay.
And you want to leave that fond in there. Leave that like that crispy crunchiness inside there. Now we're going to add in a little bit of bacon. A little bit of our
Bacon. You guys, by the way, I know Dustin, hold on, Dustin, 1 second, please. Well, you keep going, but you guys, I know Dustin's whipping this up. We are going to be sharing the recipe with you after, so don't fret. You will get this. Dustin's going to share it. I'm going to share it. Mauriton Wine's going to share it. So just follow, sit back and watch. And if you want to make this at home, you will get the step-by-step instructions. Oh, we have a little junior chef there. Hey.
That's a little helper. All right, go back to your iPad. She's very busy. She's working. She's very big homeschooling day today.
Yeah.
Play on the iPad.
Go back to the iPad. Did you ever think we would say that? Go back to the iPad and mean it?
So now we're going to add in, we sauteed our garlic. Now, the bacon we already diced up. We already cooked it ahead of time. So the spring garlic, we sauteed that, also already done. Now we have a little bit of roasted peppers. What we're basically doing is trying to warm those all up, right? Then we're going to add in a little bit of our fava beans and English peas.
What was that, Dustin? Chocolate?
That was what y'all got phone real quick. I'll show you guys. Quick zoom in. So what we have here is this is our fava beans, English peas, our bacon, spring garlic, roasted peppers. And what we're trying to do is we're kind of build that complexity of flavor, right? So we have the bacon, that smoky saltiness. We have the spring garlic, which is, even though it's kind of like garlic and odorous and strong, when you sweat it down, you cook it, which you did ahead of time, it has that beautiful kind of like sweet aromatical flavor to it. It's so good. And now what we do is we're going to add in a little bit of almonds. The almonds themselves add a little bit of textural crunch.
And when you put that Zin, to have a little bit of almond in that Zin, it's just going to be really good. So you'll see, what we're trying to basically do is warm up the bacon, get that fat, those aromatics back out, and then we're going to add in those roasted peppers, that garlic, fava beans, and then all those great flavors. If we kind of zoom in on that real quick, you'll see apparently my wife hit a double heart.
Your camera woman is doing a great job. I'm getting hungry watching this.
I love it. You got Addie in the background, our photographer. Sorry, we're going back to the photographer, videographer.
Okay. This is fast paced. You got to be sharp to follow along.
We have a lot going on.
I know, right? We're the multitasking. This is like the compound house. You got iPads, you got everything going on.
This is the most excitement I've had in 2 days. So thank you, Dustin and Clay.
I love it. All right. So now we're gonna we'll put these guys right up here. We'll do the live in person. Okay. So we put our nice little bacon, some garlic, a little mixture. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna taste the flavors, right?
Yep.
You always gotta make sure you adjust seasoning. So we like to get a separate spoon.
Dustin, one of our viewers wants to know what swat it down meant.
What's that?
Did you say that you swat something down? What does that mean? One of our questions we're getting.
Did you say you're sweating something down or swatted it down?
Oh, we sweat it down. So when you sweat something down, you're basically cooking it very gentle, and you're trying not to make a lot of color on it. Think about like caramelized onions, right? When you have caramelized onions, you want to get this really good caramelization, the development of like good sweet sugars.
Yeah.
When you're doing a sweat, you're trying to keep no color on it, but it's still the same flavor development. Okay, so we put down a little bit of charred scallion emulsion.
Yum.
Charred scallion, a little bit of water, a little bit of local olive oil inside there. And now we're going to put down this roasted pepper, almond, bacon.
This really is the fastest recipe I've ever seen made. This is amazing.
You didn't know this because we have the magic. You know, every chef, you don't know this, every chef has a magic kitchen that allows us to make things in like 5 seconds. It's crazy.
It's amazing. I need to bring your magic kitchen to my house because it takes me a lot longer when I cook.
Well, you have to be a chef first. It's one of those like trade-offs, right? Exactly. Okay, so now we took our lamb. So our lamb we roasted. We cooked it about 3 or 4 minutes per side.
Okay.
10 to 12 minutes in the oven. And what we do is now we're just going to cut nice little chops. And what we want to do is we want to cut in between the bones. And the lamb, I love lamb. It's one of my favorites. Honestly, my favorite things out there. And the reason I love lamb so much is it has great depth of flavor to it. But the best part about lamb is it has like that good, almost wild, just like intensity to it. Okay,
Yeah.
We're going to take our lamb and we're going to put the lamb right against here. Now don't worry, in 1 second I'll switch the plates over.
It looks so pretty. I love the little chops sticking up. I think that's my favorite part about lamb. I don't actually eat a lot of lamb.
That's the best part, right?
Beautiful.
Okay, now we're going to put on here a little bit of Mauritson sea salt. We're going to sprinkle that on top. A little bit right on top of that. And now we're going to put on a little bit of Valette peppers. So when you're drinking a Zinfandel, I love putting like a little bit of like pepper with Zinfandel. Yeah. So this is just a little bit of pepper. We're going to go around.
I'm going to smell the Zinfandel to get the pepper flavors you're talking about since I don't have that lamb in front of me.
Do it. Do it. And now, just to make sure it's all beautiful and gorgeous, we're going to put on a little bit of nasturtium flowers. And I love nasturtium flowers because they're not just edible.
So smooth.
Really delicious. And speaking of which, look at that. We have our next little chef here.
Voila! Wait, Dustin. Oh, hi. Hey, sweetie.
You want
Dustin.
So
Dustin, may I ask you to hold the plate up so I can get a shot of us together?
Absolutely.
This is going to be hard. I want the plate and your face. So let's see if we can do this.
Oh,
pull back there.
So demanding. All right,
I'm very demanding. Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile. One more. Hold on. This is a screenshot.
All right.
We got to work with the tools Instagram Live provides us. Thank you.
Exactly. All right. The last thing we'll do here is we're going to put on a little bit of onion blossoms.
Okay.
Now, this is onions from our garden, and we're going to put just a little bit of onion blossom on here. And you'll see when you eat it, it has a nice little textural pop back and forth. And a little bit of onion. Charlotte, how's the nasturtium flower? Is it yummy?
You eat it?
She loves nasturtium flowers. Are they good? Oh,
yummy. What a junior foodie. I love it.
I love it. Okay, so here's what I think we should do. I think, grab the phone real quick, honey. Thank you very much. That was our very fancy cameraman. Everybody, please, a quick round of applause for cameraman.
She's amazing. Normally
job,
we don't
good
have cameramen or women for these, so we've been very pampered.
I know, right? That's completely wrong. Why do we have cameramen, no camera women?
I need a cameraman or woman at my place to film me.
I know, right? You want me to go outside and have a little dinner? Does that sound good? I think we're going to head outside and have a little dinner.
Perfect.
All right, so we're going to take a quick little field trip. We'll walk down here.
Okay, everybody's going to get to see your great backyard.
These are my stairs, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Instagram live on the stairs. And, I think actually, I'll go to the cellar instead.
Yeah, that
we have a
feels
little cellar
fitting because we
here
are
in the house.
drinking wine.
Hey, what the hell are you doing in my cellar? Is this where you guys were filming? Look at this guy. I thought this guy was sitting here all
Who
the
is
time.
that surprise?
This is my cellar, you punk. All right, well, fine. Here we go. So
Wow, Clay's a party crasher. I love it.
What? So apparently we're going to do like the live, like as we go, like this right here is the dish. That's the wines. Here's my dish, his wines. So I think we should just go for it. What do you think?
Yeah.
All right.
So maybe you
now
can
we
set
can
the camera up so we can
What's
see
that?
you both somehow.
What? No, like we haven't done this before? Come on.
I don't know. So while you're doing that, I'm going to answer a question. We have a viewer that wants to know if to-go orders from Valette look that good. And I think since Dustin's not going to toot his own horn, I will tell you yes. I've eaten at Valette, I don't know, 24 times over 5 spectacular. And I might have carried it out virtually recently. So I can also say, even during these carry out times, shelter in place, it's spectacular. So did I miss anything,
I can vouch
Dustin?
for it as well because we have been doing Valette takeout pretty much since the shelter in place started. And it's freaking amazing. But the best part of it that my wife loves to nitpick Dustin about is that he includes plating instructions.
Oh!
Not good enough that he sends you all these amazing dishes. He actually gives you instructions on exactly how to plate it. And it looks beautiful. I mean, it had to.
That is amazing. So
about your plating.
Okay, so here's a real thing. We actually do. So if you go to our website, Healdsburg.com, you'll see we actually have people submit their pictures. And every week we do a very fancy thing called Winner Winner 6-Pack and Dinner.
Oh!
Yes, I know. It's actually hashtag. It's copyrighted. I own it. If you want to buy it out there, Google. It is for only $64 million. Very inexpensive. It's one hell of a good deal. Again, hashtag Winner Winner Chicken Dinner.
And what do they get again? They get a 6-pack?
A 6-pack of wine.
And hey, just for anybody who was wondering, this is an optical illusion. This table is actually 6.5 feet wide.
Okay.
And it doesn't really matter because Dustin and I mean, everyone in Sonoma County is pretty much related, so we figure we're second, third cousins, so we can be together, right?
Yeah.
We're family, so.
Well, good. Well, why don't you guys, I mean, I don't want to be rude and make your food cold, so why not feel free to dig in and we'll just watch. We've got a lot of viewers that are commenting on how delicious it looks.
Okay, so this was the setup. Obviously, we knew Clay was in the cellar. So what we want to do is
I had no idea.
What? No, crazy. So we want to showcase all 3 different wines. So the Sauvignon Blanc, the idea of that is you had a little bit of charred scallions right here, and then you had a little bit of charred scallions right here. That was for the Sauvignon Blanc. And then the English peas and fava beans are really seasonal, but really, really good, that Sauv Blanc. The aromatical Sauv Blanc is fantastic, and it really kind of gives great depth back into it. And then the Pinot, if you notice we did that bacon inside there, obviously Charlie Palmer, fantastic chef, great mentor of mine.
Love Charlie.
And also, he's famous for many things, but pigs and Pinot, I mean, come on.
Pigs and, that's how I met both of
Charlie
you.
Palmer.
I think I met both of you at Pigs and Pinot. Like, I know I met you there, Dustin, and maybe I met Clay at the Zinfandel fundraiser, but literally Pigs and Pinot is my favorite event of the year. And I plan my March spring break around it. It's just that it's so fun, and Charlie's amazing, and the chefs, the winemaker, everybody.
Hey, how do you have spring break? I mean, come on.
Well, I mean,
Spring break.
I'm a travel blogger. Of course I have spring break, Clay.
What are you doing for your summer break? You know, I mean,
Well, normally.
Semester at sea next year?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Whoa, hey, no semester at sea, hey.
Yeah. So
Keep the
normally,
COVID there.
during the summer, I go to the Midwest. I go back to Chicago. I get some Cubs games in. I go to my lake house in Indiana. I do Midwest stuff in the summer, not for spring break.
Lake house in Indiana.
That a girl.
Dude, what are we doing wrong in life?
We were talking about in our next life, we want to come back as something else. I think I want to come back as the Jet Set Fashionista.
Oh, well, that's sweet. I'll trade
That's a
you.
wig you can wear again.
What?
I think it's kind of cool, right?
So I
was
have a
saying
question.
The fava beans and, just with the Sauv Blanc is freaking amazing. Yeah, absolutely amazing. And Emily hit on this earlier, where we're going to win him some wine. There is a savoriness to the Sauvignon Blanc. We, believe in, the purity of the varietal. And so it's all, it never sees any traditional oak. We ferment about half of it in upright oak. So it adds a richness without malolactic. And I love how that bacon with all the other vegetables just picks that up. But the fava beans and Sauvignon Blanc is phenomenal.
Nice. Okay, so sorry, we had to do a quick picture before we started eating it.
Oh, good. That is a good food blogger move, Dustin. I endorse that.
Boom, legit.
My friend Margaret says the camera eats first. And she's
That's
with
not
me.
true. How you guys? I'm a very trim 268 pounds. Like, I eat first. Trust me on this. Like, I am dang near anorexic. I mean, 268 is like, I ain't gonna make it.
Well, you guys better eat. I mean, we don't want to hold you up.
So the idea is local lamb, but we really want to kind of talk about the pairing element. I think this is a great time for like questions. You guys make questions out there, but
yeah,
we always talk about food wine pairings, right? And a lot of times they either start with the wines, and a chef's given the wines, and hey, try these wines and make some food with it. Or the winemaker, they'll go into like a restaurant and they'll say, hey, we're gonna do a dinner tonight, and what should we pair with this lobster? What should we pair with these, this soup, this risotto, this lamb? So it's kind of fun because this dish is driven towards the Zinfandel. We paired the Zinfandel, it's driven for Zinfandel, it's created for Zinfandel.
Okay.
Is it peppers, escalette, all those flavors, smokiness, the char in the lamb, that depth of flavor of the lamb, have that beautiful tannins and the acid is in to cut back through it. But it's also kind of playing around a little bit where we could try the charred scallion, the peas, and have some. Try the bacon and have the, and really kind of play around. And then the almonds are crazy. I know it sounds weird, but when you have that bitter chalkiness mixed back in, it cuts the fat inside there, but it also adds that bitter element that kind of gives you more complexity back to the dish to kind of match up your wines.
Wow, we've got someone from Argentina saying hello. So, Clay, I want to ask you about the Zin. To Dustin's point, it pairs perfectly, I imagine, with what you guys are eating. And I'm not as familiar with Zin as, me and my Pinot obsession, but I feel like this Zin is a lot lighter and lower in alcohol than a typical Zin you might taste. It is super drinkable and super smooth and elegant. What's your winemaking style here?
Well, our winemaking style for all of our wines is exactly the same. I think a winemaker's job is simply to express the date and the place on the bottle. And if you are going to go all in and make single vineyard wines, it's because there's something really special about that side that you're trying to express. And Rockpile is very near and dear to our family's heart, but more importantly, it is an amazing place to grow grapes. And when you think about Zinfandel and all of the problems that come along with Zin, the propensity for, as you said, high alcohols, which is a result of overripeness, thin skins, propensity for rot. When you can grow it in an environment like Rockpile, what it allows you to do is get physiologic and phenolic ripeness at relatively lower Brix levels. And so you don't have that homogenized, simplistic, jammy, is a lot of flavor that some Zinfandels exhibit. You end up with this Zinfandel that has fruit, which is what people love about it, but has spice, has earthy notes, has herbal, has balance, has structure. And a lot of it is our farming, a lot of it is the site, and a lot of it is winemaking. But you're right, we have wines that are typically lower in alcohol than other Zinfandel producers, and a little bit more elegant. But we also have great structure from Rockpile because we have smaller berry sizes. So,
okay.
And I think Dustin's being very modest. As a winemaker, this is a 2017. We put this into bottle almost 18 months ago. So our job has been done for a long time. When there's a great food and wine pairing, it's because the chef is able to execute and create a dish that pairs well with food. And sometimes, you decide the wine you're going to drink and you try and pair a dish to it, but there's still a level of balance that has to go into food, just like wine, where nothing in the dish is overwhelming, and so that you can, take that acid, take that fat, and pair it with the wine. So I think chefs don't get enough credit when it comes to food and wine pairing because the winemaker's job is done once it goes in the bottle. And the chef is the one who really puts together that balanced plate, to complement the wine.
But see, that's to me is a cool part, right? So like you said, when that wine's in the bottle, you can't change it. right? You can maybe let it breathe for an extra half hour. You could use a cordion. You could get a little air back into it. You could, decant it. You can do all these different things. You warm it up, cool down slightly, but you're kind of locked into that flavor profile. As a chef, we have a lot of variables, right? We can add a pop like Espelette. We do a little Espelette pepper on here, which for the Pinot wouldn't really make sense, right? You don't really want to have an Espelette, which is kind of an AOC pepper from France. Actually, Jack Heron, whose wife used to work for you back in the day, he actually grows your Espelette for us. Hidden Pond Farms right here in Santa Rosa, Windsor. But you don't want to have a lot of like spice with Pinot. Spice with a Sauv Blanc is not bad, but it rips out the aromatical elegance of that wine. Where with the Zin, you have that ability to kind of play around a little bit. So as a chef, we have more tools, right? We can add in more acid. We can add in a spice element. We can add in a smoky bacon element. Where as a winemaker, you get one chance, and you don't really know the final version until 2 years. Yeah. 2 years, and then you're like, "Hey, high five!" Or about that wine.
First of all, I want to remind everybody, you guys, if you have questions, I know Dustin and Clay and I are just gabbing away, which we could do for hours, but please throw questions out because this is a pretty awesome forum and opportunity to ask winemaker, chef extraordinaire questions. And we've got all these fun people joining.
I have a question. Can you block my wife so she can't see what we're eating here? Because I'm going to be in deep shit.
I don't have the skills to block. But I'm sure.
My wife is for us, and then we're gonna eat outside. And then I left and walked downstairs. Right now.
Well, what about that other one, Dustin?
Look at my phone. See all that little tech bars on top? Those are texts from my wife by saying, "You're an ass. Enjoy the cellar. I'll send you a pillow."
I turned my phone off.
Well, I think that there was that extra dish that went in the oven, Dustin. It's probably ready about now. So maybe there's a second meal for the wives.
Hey, you know what? I don't appreciate your knowledge what's actually going on, okay? I enjoy the cinematic portrayal that we're creating here instead of the actuality reality. We don't want to talk about reality, okay?
Or maybe you're putting that in an Uber to go to San Francisco for me.
I know, right? Exactly. Uber Eats.
Yeah. Well, good. So I'm about to taste the Pinot Noir, which Clay, I know that I had last year at Pigs and Pinot. When was your first vintage with Charlie for this one?
2006, which is almost just feels so weird coming out of my mouth that we've been doing this for that long. I know.
So I'm drinking your 12th vintage, the 18th.
12th vintage, yes.
That was fast math, right?
Normally I'd say not bad for a football player, so I'll say not bad for a football fan.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, now that I'm a football
girl.
It's lovely. I love this. And where are these grapes really from? Good. I know Russian River. Where?
So we think of it as like this amazing triangle of the Russian River. Charlie's Vineyard is on the kind of northwest side of Russian River. It's on the west side of the river, but on the northern end of it. The Caligari Vineyard, which makes up the largest part of the blend, is a little bit further south, but it's on the east side of the river and at a very elevated location. And then with the last kind of final piece of the puzzle is one of the Dutton ranches.
Oh, great.
They call the Campbell Ranch, which is out in Grayton. And you know, the challenge and wonderful, I mean, amazing honor to work with, you know, Chef Palmer on this is that, you know, it needed to be a wine that complemented food.
Right.
And the inspiration for this came from a trip that Charlie and I took to Burgundy in 2005. And, you know, little did I know at the time that my palate was being tested to see if I had a similar, you know, flavor profile to Charlie and understood balance in wines and what he wanted to achieve. And when he told me that he wanted to make wines like this, I said, well, you better buy some land in Burgundy and buy it quick.
Right.
It's not getting cheaper. So when we wanted to make a specific style that had, you know, balance, a little bit more structure, had some ageability, it depended on the site, right? We had to find those sites. And Charlie had, at the time, a very young vineyard that we knew had great potential to be a more structured site, but it was a little bit warmer being on the northern side. So we sought out cooler sites to blend in this to give it a little bit more of those earthy tones, complexity, and maintain that acid. And so, you know, some of the winemaking decisions that we need to make, when to pick it, you know, how to farm it, they can help cater to that style. But it really is all about site, and they're just three outstanding vineyards that we have to use in this year in and year out.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it. Oh, well, gosh, how are you guys doing over there? I'm getting hungry watching you.
I know, right? This cannot be good. Like, whatever the viewership is, it's going to go down right now. Like, you guys sitting here just eating, right, drinking. And then the best part is, you said we do it all night. We have plenty. We have backup
I know.
food, we have plenty of wine. We're set.
Okay, so I have an idea.
Personal use prosciuttos.
You guys, I want a rain check. I want you to say it out loud. Everyone's going to hear. I want a rain check for the three of us to do this after shelter in place in Healdsburg. I'll come up.
Absolutely.
I know this great cottage that I can stay at. It's right off the square. And yeah, let's do this together whenever we get through this very soon.
I love it. A day of it, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, so is there any, so we were talking about the food wine pairing element, but like, is there any questions out there that anyone has that's watching now that we can help kind of enlighten? Because I'm pretty blind. I can't see my phone other than I can see.
Yeah, no, I'm moderating. You guys put them in the comment thread because that's probably easiest. So we got some feedback. Christian loves the label design of the Charlie Clay. It is really fun. I'm going to show everybody it again.
The duelist. I like
it. Look at the crest.
Yeah.
There's a chef's knife and a wine thief.
That's good.
A chef's knife and a what?
And a wine thief on the crest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so we do have one question for you, Dustin. So Clay shared in an escalator elevator pitch his story about how he got into winemaking. How did you get into cooking?
Well, I'm what you call skinny. And I'm what you call absolute lover of food. So definitely one of those is true. So I started cooking as a kid. I started professionally when I was 13 in restaurants, and I found a passion for it. My whole life, I grew up in a family, probably very similar to Clay's, where we were part of Sonoma County. My dad was a tanker pilot. My mom worked for Reach, the area ambulance service, and we would not have a normal dinner schedule. Dinner would be at 10 o'clock at night, but every night we would have dinner together. And for me, when I started kind of thinking about what I want to do for a living, I couldn't pass up the opportunity to bring joy to people and do something that I absolutely love. So I got into restaurants when I was 13. Ever since then, it's been a complete passion of mine. I worked for a lot of cool chefs. I was very fortunate to be able to go work in New York, LA, San Francisco, Italy, France, Hawaii, Vegas. I worked for Charlie for 6 years. And then we started Valette 5 years ago now. And 5 years? 5 years. It's crazy.
5 years, wow.
5 years. It's crazy. We're 5 years old. We're older than my daughter. It's crazy.
Well,
but it's really just like a passion of mine to be able to take something like a carrot, take something like a fava bean, and create something out of it that has great flavor. And to me, the best part, and what gets me so excited about what I do, is it brings people together. You know, it allows us to kind of come together, sit down, have food, have wine, and talk. You know, talk about the day, talk about what happened. And I think one of the problems we have right now is so many families are busy. We don't have the opportunity to sit there and enjoy our time, right? Or we don't have the opportunity to sit there and, hey, you know, my daughter who just came over a second ago, it's like, what'd you do today? You know, she played with her friend and she went, you know, she colored, and things that are very, very simple, but we get to share our lives together. And food, to me, is a great elixir to kind of bring people together. And friends, family, neighbors, random people, I guess not random people now because of COVID, but up until COVID, random people. And you kind of bring one together and you get to kind of share that element of food, nourishment. I love what I do, super passionate about it. And I'm very fortunate to be able to say that I could, you know, bring joy to people. And I've been, again, very blessed in my life to be able to, you know, run a successful restaurant. We have a new one we're starting. So we're about...
Hey, whoa, that was my next question. Pause. I'm saving that question. So, anyway, Clay. Well, since you grew, I guess I'll just let you continue. Well, first of all, Clay, I want to tell you, El Santalonza says Kelly and that person opened the 2010 Rockpile Buck Pasture. Cheers. That is a mouthful. Buck Pasture.
Awesome. Those are some restaurant friends of ours from Central Florida.
Oh, great! And I know we have people from Illinois. We have someone in Arizona. We've got a bunch of California people. And now I have another question. Dustin, I know you're working on a new project located on the Healdsburg Square. Could you share a little bit more? Oh, sorry, mid-bite. Of course I asked while you're mid-bite. Can you share a little bit more and tell the viewers what's cooking?
Absolutely. Nothing's cooking now. Dinner's already all done. So we're actually eating. But we're kind of excited. So Our new project is called Matheson. It's on Matheson Street. It's actually kind of funny. It's right next to a building that somebody used to own it back in the day, right? Anybody you know?
Talk about.
Look at first. I asked a question right when you took a
right
bite. See, this restaurateurs have this uncanny ability. We wait until someone almost takes a bite. We pause our question, and as soon as they put the food in their mouth, we're like, boom, question. You're like,
this is how incestuous these old families from Sonoma County are. So my great-grandmother owned the building right next door to the Matheson.
Really?
It's now the Healdsburg Inn. But what is the Healdsburg Inn now? That was her home. She lived upstairs. She
Wow.
3 storefronts below it.
that was your great grandmother.
That was my great-grandmother.
So who owned the building next to it? The bakery.
Oh.
My great grandfather owned the bakery where the Matheson or new restaurant.
So you guys might
So,
seriously
I mean,
be related.
This is a real story. This is
Yeah.
this is a real thing. He owned the Snowflake Bakery. Great grandma was a baker from France, and it was right next to his great grandmother's house.
And she operated the florist and then leased out the 2 storefronts.
Yep. So our new project is called Matheson. It is downtown Healdsburg, and we're very, very excited. The building is for sale. I partnered with a partner, Craig Ramsey, and we were able to put together this project that is going to basically protect the building, preserve it, and give a place where everybody can kind of come together and share food, share wine,
Yeah.
and have a place where tourists and locals and everybody gets to kind of come together and just have fun, eat, drink, have a good time. We're still probably next year, probably February-ish, we think, next year. But we're excited, and my favorite part to me is we actually get to keep that piece of family lineage there. You know, I'm an owner of the building, and we're able to protect that for my kids, right? And keep that in our family. And that to me is the best part.
You can't see this, by the way, but the 2 cutest little girls in the world are coming down, pulling on Daddy's arm.
Oh. Well, Dustin, we can share you. They can join the camera.
So professional. In the background, I'm like, we're good.
This is basically like homeschooling for adults, right?
It is.
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
That's exactly what it is. Or we have wine. So also,
You know how many times that my kids have yelled at me for like walking through the camera when they're homeschooling, on Zoom meetup with all their class, like, Dad.
See, my children are 3 and 4, so their Zoom meetup is like, here's a crayon. Yay.
Yeah.
So yeah, new project, Madison, very excited.
Good.
We're very excited. It's a very big part of our family. We're very, very excited to be able to get the restaurant back into the family, the building back into the family. And we're excited to be able to do the simplest things. We have the old bread recipe from my great grandfather that we're doing at Valette. We've actually used the original dough press, the same one that he had back in the 20s. We're able to utilize that one at Valette every night. And for the Matheson, we'll take the same recipes, the same dough press, put it over there, and kind of put it back home again. So,
Just
Great.
to extrapolate
I'm
this,
super excited.
Your partner, where was his ranch?
This is crazy. So my partner had a ranch up there at Rockpile.
In Rockpile. Craig Ramsey
You guys are
was our
totally
neighbor in
third
Rockpile.
cousin brothers. By the way, I'm just going to say it. There's definitely some family relationship we don't know about. If you did, you guys should do the genealogy thing.
No, I don't want to.
I would be very scared.
Yeah, we both like, no, sorry, folks. They're like, no.
Oh my
I do not
God.
want this guy anymore. Like, we're good.
So speaking of families, Clay, I want to talk about your family for a minute.
Yes.
So tell us, what's cooking? What is exciting at the winery? I mean, you guys obviously have a very loyal following of Wine Club members. I'm sure most of them are watching. I want to remind them that if they want to, purchase the wines that we're tasting today, you guys are going to offer that to them. What else do you want to tell them?
Well, it's thank God the wineries have been deemed essential businesses because winemaking doesn't stop. Grape growing doesn't stop. And so from a production standpoint, we've been going really kind of normal. I mean, just like we would in any March or April. We have had 2 bottlings since, COVID-19 started. And so, again, I feel so thankful that I get to go to work every day. And even under the very different, auspice that it is now, what are we excited about? We're excited about reopening sometime soon.
Yep.
Hopefully sooner rather than later. This year we made our first ever Muscat Blanc.
Oh.
Which is just absolutely phenomenal.
Maybe we'll try it when we have our
When
reunion,
we're here,
our
all
triple
three of us,
reunion in
absolutely.
Healdsburg. Yeah, let's try it.
You told me Muscat Blanc. I didn't know this.
So my brothers bought a vineyard up in Lake County a couple years ago. We just they're expanding the vineyard side of the operation, and that's kind of what they do. The winery buys all of our grapes from the farming operations. They're two totally separate businesses.
Yep.
So we rely, I said more than heavily, there's no way to underscore how important the farming side is to what we do with our wines. But they bought this vineyard in Lake County and really bought it for the dirt. And it had 55-year-old organically farmed certified Muscat on it.
Wow.
And I think the original intention was to pull it out, and we're like, wait a minute, this is almost like a national treasure. Can we get a couple tons and experiment with it? And so last year was the first year that we made any. We got a grand total of 2 tons. We picked it really early, wanted to do a really dry, racy style. So it ended up at like 12.5% alcohol. It's bone dry.
Perfect.
It is absolutely phenomenal. It has all the exotic fruit and these beautiful floral notes that you expect in Muscat. And I think wines that make you think, that have this dichotomy of what you smell and what you taste, are always really interesting. And when you smell this wine, there's so much fruit and spice that you expect it to be sweet, and then you taste it, and it's just this racy, bone-dry, 12.5% alcohol wine. So we're really excited about that. Not only the wine that we made this year, because it's a tiny amount, but the prospect of getting more fruit from that vineyard in 2020 and possibly more beyond. So,
well, I mean, don't you guys own the vineyard? So hopefully your brothers will sell you more fruit.
My brothers own the vineyard. Very key distinction.
I mean, I hope you can get more fruit.
There's one thing that's very true in our family. There's no family discounts. I know that my brothers do the most incredible job farming for us. They have our best interest in mind. But, I mean, it makes perfect sense. Why would they sell grapes to me for less than they could sell to another winery? I mean, they're putting food on their family's table. We're putting food on our family's table. And even though, some of the businesses are commingled, you have to run the business individually. And so I hope we can get more fruit. But
let's put a plug in, brothers. Sell Clay more fruit, please. So speaking of the wine, we have a question. What was the bottling experience like during, coronavirus? How was that different than a normal year of bottling or season?
So it was challenging, not impossible, but challenging. On the bottling line, you're working in really tight spaces. And so normally we operate at about 90 bottles per minute. But in order to adhere to all the social distancing guidelines, we had to slow the bottling line down to about half speed because we could only have one person packing the bottles, one person unpacking the bottles.
Right.
Normally you have 2 people doing that. And so we just had to slow things down. Little things like the bottling rig that we use, and they are absolutely amazing. We use Select Mobile Bottlers out of Napa. They are top flight operation. But instead of having multiple people going on the truck to deliver the new bag of corks or new labels, or they only would let one person come on the truck, we obviously had to be wearing our PPE. So, we're making do. And I think that's kind of why all of us are chomping at the bit about, let us open back up. We can go to the grocery store. The grocery stores have figured out how to manage social distancing and how to let people, carry out a transaction. We can manage bottling wine. Let us manage, handling customers that want to get out of their house, that want to come have a wine experience. So we're hoping that that's going to happen sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Well, I need to chime in. We've got some viewers that are saying hello. My friend, and apparently Dustin, your friend, Sandra from Girl on a Fig says, hi, Dustin. She's amazing. I'm doing an Instagram Live with Sandra May 29th, Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific. So she sent me all these jams, and I've just been going fig crazy. So hopefully there's some leftover for our tasting. So you guys will have to join for that. And also Clay, Taboo says, received our Soho Club shipment here in Mass. It lifted their spirits. Thank you so much.
I think Dustin said something earlier that resonates with me so much about, how blessed we are to, work in a profession where you bring people joy, you bring people happiness. And, when I was growing up, literally some of my fondest family memories are around the dinner table. And it's the time where the family would sit down and all have dinner together, and wine was always a big part of our meal. And it just brings me so much pleasure thinking that what we're doing is bringing people together.
Yep.
You know, engaging in conversation. You know, I go to your restaurant all the time, and people on their cell phones. You see them talking about life, talking about food, talking about
or annoying bloggers taking pictures, but then I talk a lot.
That's it.
But so we are so thankful for all of our incredible customers out there that are keeping us afloat during these challenging times. And it is an unbelievable lift to our spirits to think that we bring people just a little bit of joy.
Yeah.
This craziness.
So on that note, I want to thank Nate and Kyle. A couple of my loyal supporters are on here too. It's so hard because in the beginning when I first did this, it was just me, and I was like, hi, and then I'm like, it's hard to say hi to everybody, but those that are joining, it's really nice that they're sharing their Friday with us. So Clay and Dustin, you guys are awesome to take the time and to coincidentally be in the same cellar. I don't even know how that worked out.